What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the blue color, playing as Poseidon. His name is Hagrit. His opponent today in the red color, playing also as Poseidon. His name is Shadowfax. This is game number 5. It's a best of 5. Game point, game set, game match. It'll all be over after this game for one of these two players. It's been a hell of a series thus far. Super close couple of games. And I mean, it's Poseidon Mirror right now, so we'll see how these guys are going to be able to match up in this one. There was a myriad of different gods to pick from, but they both decided, you know what? Game number 5, it's time to pick Poseidon. I'm genuinely surprised, actually, that Hagrit went Poseidon here, because I would expect, if I'm playing against Shadowfax, that Shadowfax is going to pick a Norse god in this final game, and Norse is very, very scary against Poseidon, but he gets, I guess, a little bit lucky in a way. In order to get the Poseidon Mirror, because if I'm completely honest, Poseidon Mirror, there's nothing in it. If you know how to play the Poseidon Mirror, it literally just comes down to execution, and there's not a whole lot of micro that comes into the game. It's all about like kind of building placement, late game skills, and everything else. And not only that, we're getting ourselves the kind of spread, the kind of trees in the middle map, which makes it a very, very defensive orientated map. Not only that, it's a relatively low hump. We've got 2 rhinos on the map and an elephant. Where's the elephant at? Looks like strange. I haven't seen this before. Apparently this is possible, in that it looks like Hagrid's got 2 rhinos and Shadowfax has got an elephant, and oh no, he's got 2 rhinos as well. Well, there's the elephant. All right, we found it. Okay, so there's 1 elephant, 2 rhinos. So it's a relatively low hunt map. And it's Poseidon. So Poseidon can also like not eat the food that the lure brings in if Poseidon so chooses to. As we see a house coming up over here, another lion going to be moving in. Definitely have to eat those lions though, as Hagrid's going to be continuing on in this game. So the big question is, how do you play this matchup at a high level? Answer, well, first thing is town centers are key. It's very tough to go 1 town center in this matchup. You can go for a greedy 3 town center build, but the better idea is to go 2 town centers first and see what your opponent's going to do just in case, and then you can throw your 3rd town center down if you want, or you can go for a fast heroic off of 2 town centers or a fast mythic off of 2 town centers. Because there's not a whole lot of places to raid on a low hunt map, building units doesn't tend to be that important. You can build a handful of units and then go for some aggressive walls in order to get an advantage where that's concerned, but oftentimes you're going to find yourself in a very, very difficult position against someone who's teching quickly. As we see a rhino coming in here as well. For Hagrit, he's just about to be able to advance here, as he's going to be chucking his villagers over onto gold, his villagers over onto wood, and getting up to the next age. We do see Shadowfax going for a later advance here. I'm not sure why that is, getting himself his Theseus here. Has he seen a relic that he likes? The flagstone of Buhen is on the map over here. The ship of fingernails is over here as well. That's a nice relic to help boost the food economy. It's kind of worth, I don't know, like a 1/3 of a villager in a way. Tusk of the Iron Boar is here, giving an extra 10% cavalry and chariot hit points on that location. So Shadowfax has seen that relic and says, yep, I'll take that one. And then we also see the Bow of Artemis over here. So that's an extra or reduction in archer, troll, centaur cost. Not a bad relic, but honestly, I don't see a whole lot of point in archers in the Greek mirror. So we'll see how it's going to go. Now, we do have to remember a matchup. I can't remember. I think it was Momo versus Grass and Groom, where we did see the might of skipping archers, and we'll see if players are starting to learn that they can just rush Heliopoli and not build archers in this matchup and be completely fine here. As we do see the villagers moving over here onto this settlement, going to be grabbing that one, building it up as fast as they possibly can. Going to be a slight advantage for Hagrit, as the Hermes advance time for Shadowfax is a little bit late here. But, I mean, you can advance 515 here if you want, especially if you get the Theseus out and try and grab 3 town centers. We are seeing a stable. Oh, we're seeing stables coming down for Shadowfax. I'm not going to lie. This shows a little bit of a lack of understanding of when to go 1 town center aggression and when to not go 1 town center aggression here. So the early stables here from Shadowfax, the only real way that this is going to work is if your opponent has got exposed resources. So let's take a look at what Shadowfax has spotted thus far. Shadowfax spots the town center, so he knows that this town center is going up. He knows there's a temple over here. He knows it's going to be tough to break through this location here and get onto this gold mine. He sees there's a tower here. That's going to be tough. He sees that there's another gold mine over here as well, so he already knows that it's 2 gold mine because of this one. So that can't be the reason he's going 1 town center here. If we keep another look, he does know there's wood on this location, but again, he has to kind of pass through this town center to get there. He sees an elephant over here that's on top of the town center. He knows he's not going to be able to attack that. I'm really not seeing the weaknesses in Hagrit's position here, which these units that Shadowfax is going to build is going to be able to exploit here. So honestly, at this point, it's advantage Hagrit. Now, let's see what Hagrit's seen. Hagrit has no idea that stables are coming for him. He has not scouted his opponent. He has not seen the town centers. So this could be one of 2 things here. So first thing that Hagrit could be expecting is obviously a 1 town center play. And that 1 town center play could be military units in the classical age, or it could be a fast heroic. Fast heroic here makes some amount of sense because you can go straight into Prodromus. He's picked up the extra damage on the units, but he's going to be seeing those units coming in onto this position right now as the stable is 100% going to be coming up. The town center going to be shooting back here. And it looks like Shadowfax is going to be going for his town centers now. He's built a handful of units out, and he's going to drop down his town centers. So the only real way forward right now for Shadowfax to catch up on villages is to grab 3 town centers. So grab this one, grab that one. He's got the units out to kind of defend that at this point. So we'll see if he's going to be able to get those out. But right now, Hagrit's going to be happy about his position. He's going to be up 5 villages, probably going to be up 10 villages very, very soon as well before the town center is actually up for Shadowfax. And honestly, Shadowfax actually, is he still building units? No. He might be going 1 town center fast mythic here, which is a strategy. So it's sort of semi-fast mythic into an earthquake. But the problem is that you're facing up against Hermes, and Hermes is a bit of a nightmare as the Hippocon do manage to get onto this position. The Hippolyta are going to be able to shoot down that Centaur pretty nicely. Unfortunately, the Centaur gets missed there, but the Hippolyta does get a couple more shots in, and the Theseus manages to finish off that Centaur there as the unit's going to be retreating away. The village is getting pushed off of this elephant. There's only 22 food left in it, so not that big of a win there for Hagrit, but Hagrit wants to finish off the 22 food as he comes back in to eat the rest of that elephant, and then you'll have to retreat away as the unit's going to continue fighting here. So long as they're fighting into town center fire, that's completely fine to do that. As Shadowfax returning back over here, he's going to be going after that low HP villager, and he does manage to get that one. So a bit of a mistake there from Hagrit as the villager is retreating away. Shadowfax is going to be getting out of this position, retreating back home. We do see the Katoskobots scouting around. We see watchtowers has come through for Hagrit as the wall's up. The building wall is up as well, and Shadowfax just about to click up to the heroic age, it would seem, as he has the resources to do so. Armory coming down, and now the question is, what next? As we see a whole bunch of villages coming over onto the gold here. We've got 2 villages on the favor, and this to me looks like Nemean Lions. There is an option here for Shadowfax to actually go for like a whole bunch of villages on gold because there's no food remaining, and just try and buy Mythic Age. That is one option, but this looks to me with the villages on favor like he's going Nemean Lions, because there's no point in getting that favor now if you're going for the Mythic Age into Chimera. As we do see a couple of villages getting picked off. We don't have crenellations just yet. Hagrit is moving his units in to try and defend this one, so he will get a couple of hits onto this and potentially get a couple of kills. As soon as he hits the units, the towers actually start hitting. And as they get back up to full speed, they stop hitting. As those units do manage to get out of here. Nicely, well played by Hagrit. Shadowfax not losing too much here, and it does. Oh, I'm a bit confused. I'm not sure. It does actually look like a Mythic Age is incoming here for Shadowfax. So, I mean, we'll see how it's going to go as the Hippocon going to be moving around. The question is, how much damage does an Earthquake really do? And then how much can you get out of the Chimera here? So if this was a 1 gold mine map here, this would make a lot of sense, because then you could start targeting down the second gold mine with your Chimera and dealing with your enemy units and stuff like that. Do we see any Nemean lions coming out? Doesn't look like it. Going to be trying to take down these villages here. A curse can get dropped onto the enemy Hippocon here, as he's going to be still trying to take down the villages of Hagrit. Hagrit should probably be throwing up an extra tower over here or something in order to defend those, but he's going to move up onto this wood line over here. A wall over here would be a big help as well for Hagrit. He's got plenty of resources in the bank. We don't see any more anything getting produced here. Shadowfax moving closer and closer to the Mythic Age. Does he have a market up? Yes, he does. The Nemean Lion hanging out over here as we see some walls getting dropped on this position here. The village is finishing up with these goats over here as well. There's not going to be a whole lot of food in the bank, though, for Shadowfax, so he basically does need to go mass gold, mass Chimera here, and hope that he can get a victory. And Hagrid is kind of reading this, so Hagrid just has to pick which town center he wants to go heroic age here with, and hopefully get to the heroic age before Shadowfax gets to the mythic age. That's the big key here. So we do see Artemis coming through for Shadowfax, as the unit's going to be swinging around the top here. There's lots of buildings coming up on this position. If you do earthquake this town center, you will get a lot of militia. If you earthquake this town center, there'll be a lot of militia. So that's another weakness of this strategy here. But you do have the Chimera to deal with that, though, as we're going to start seeing these villages moving on to the gold. We've got pickaxe, we've got hand axe, we've got husbandry, we've got hunting dogs. We've got ourselves 5 villages on the favor as well, which is a good amount of favor a minute. You need about 7 villages on favor to be able to afford. I think it's a Chimera every minute and like 10 seconds or something in terms of favor. So if you have 7 villages on favor, that's going to be that. But there's already like a ton of favor in the bank, so he's going to be able to build those straight away. As the gate is going to be getting taken down here as the units want to move in and start taking down the hometown center. But Aphrodite will hit first, so that's going to mean that there's going to be an Atlanta out, which is a difficulty to deal with. So we do see the curse getting dropped on this position. The only five kills there. I think he might have wanted to get a couple of villages as well, as the Atlanta, or Hippolyta I should say, getting pushed back. The Nemean Lion swinging around here, going to try and get onto these villages, but there is a Theseus and Hippolyta shooting this one down as the Hippocon try and get around onto this. Do get us around. The Hippolyta going to attempt to try and get in onto the watchtowers. We see crenellations coming through here. The Hippocon getting pushed back as the Nemean Lion moving in as well. The question is, where do you earthquake? Do you earthquake this location, hit all of these buildings? Do we have ourselves any upgrades? Not really. So all of this should get taken down as we see the units pushing through here, trying to figure out where he can cast the earthquake. It looks like Shadowfax's unit might get taken out here. We see an attempt at a pathing block here as the Hippocon is going to be moving in here, sacrificing his life for the line of sight as the earthquake does get dropped down onto this location. The town center will get taken out. We've got ourselves a metric shit ton of militia here as well. So 14 militia. Oh, no. 18 militia as Hagrit pops up to 123 of a 65 population. He's got tons of wood in the bank. There's a whole bunch of Toxotes coming in for Shadowfax as well, as the Chimera are on their way. Getting 2 Chimera out. He's already got 1 on the front. So we will have a grand total of 3 here as he's waiting on that little bit of extra favor. A little bit housed right now as well, as we see the special attack being used. You have to move in, special attack, run away, move in, special attack, run away. That's how you use the Chimera in this situation, as we're seeing the units pulling back, a couple of villages getting taken out. The village differential is absolutely huge here, but Shadowfax does have the Chimera, and Chimera can get mass value, and that's everything right now for Shadowfax in this game. As the Chimera going to be hitting the Nemean Lion here, moving over, pushing in and trying to hit an extra bit of damage here onto as many of those militia as he possibly can. Where's the next Chimera, as it is moving in right now to help out. The units retreating away here as best as they can. It looks like Hagrid doesn't even care about his units here. He's just chasing after the Chimera, waiting. Shadowfax is just waiting patiently for that special as he turns around. Going to be shooting very, very fast here, getting that damage done as best as he possibly can. The Hippolyta here with 1 HP remaining will end up getting taken down as another Chimera moves in for Shadowfax, getting the special ability done as well. Hagrid's population dropping slowly here, but Shadowfax does not have the population himself to continue fighting. And now we've got the Atlanta out, and that is game over for these Chimera unless you have a ton of units in order to deal with it. I mean, yes, you can continue to hit and run just a little bit, but 6.0 speed here is a lot. So we see the special ability getting used yet again. The Chimera going down over here, 100 HP remaining. Another Chimera has hit the battlefield as those Toxotes all get taken down. Hagrit dropping down to 98 population, but Shadowfax still struggling for units here. As you have to remember, he's got a lot of villagers on favor. We see the villagers coming over to grab the town center now as Shadowfax wants to think about getting some villagers for himself. He's managed to deal with the army kind of as he picks off a couple of militia here, but he hasn't actually managed to pick off any of Hagrid's villagers, which is the big problem that Shadowfax is facing right now. Hagrid having 20 villager advantage over him is absolutely huge. So we see the Chimera moving into the main base right now. They will find some villagers over here and attempt to take those down as best as he can. 2 flaming shots do manage to take down a whole bunch of villagers. Picks off 3 there. Going to be moving on to this location now to take even more villagers out as Hagrid's pushing forward, looking for some villagers to kill of Shadowfax. As Shadowfax retreats back, he does have this 22 HP Chimera in his base here, which is going to be able to take down a couple of units here as well as the Chimera moving around looking for something to take down. There's some juicy villagers over here. If he gets a good special ability onto that, he can take those down, but for some reason Shadowfax is retreating away. There's this wood line over here. If we take a look at what Shadowfax has actually seen, he doesn't know that there's villagers here, so he's not checking that location out. He doesn't know where the wood villagers are at all. He's got no idea that there's wood villagers here either. As a Chimera going to be moving back in order to try and regroup with his army. Shadowfax at 90 population. Hagrit's at 117 population with a very, very significant villager advantage here as he's going to attempt to push in. And where is the Atlanta at is the big question. It looks like there is Atlanta over here chasing around where those Chimera were as the units moving in onto this position, getting some extra damage done onto this army. I don't think that Shadowfax can really fight this army just yet, not until his Chimera come in. He's got 4 Chimera here, and this is going to be absolutely devastating for Hagrit if he mispositions once. And it does come down to some good micro here from Shadowfax as well, as we do see the spread stance has come in, but the units all going to be getting taken down here as the special attack comes down. Hagrit's population dropping very fast here as the units coming in for Shadowfax. He's going to continue to fight here, but he does lose 1 Chimera already as the Atlanta is not in the fight here just yet as the Atlanta coming through, and that's going to be the big ticket for Shadowfax to have to retreat away here. He doesn't have the answer for the Atlanta just yet. The units retreating away. We see the Chimera getting jabbed down as they try to retreat back here. We will be seeing a little bit of micro here from Shadowfax to try and keep his units alive. The Toxotes trying to take this down, but Shadowfax's Chimera moving in to take down the Toxotes as Hagrit does get the spread formation in. Still going to be getting a lot of damage taken down as we see another Chimera falling, as it seems like Hagrit has managed to defend the onslaught of Chimera here. Shaft Mine coming through for Hagrit. He's still got gold in his main base, and we're still seeing we've got 80 villagers now for Hagrit, so he's got a serious advantage here. Shadowfax 2 town centers, needs to get his 3rd town center. He's going to be throwing that up as the units retreating away. We do see the units turning around, getting that special ability on, pulling back. That is exactly how you have to do it. Keep hitting running, sacrifice some units to come in and take down that Atlanta, or at least slow her down a little bit to allow your Chimera to retreat back. More units coming through for Shadowfax. Population differential is still gigantic as effectively Shadowfax needs to work out how to deal with this army that Hagrit's assembled here. We do see the Chimera coming in onto this position will end up taking down these Toxotes nicely as they all do fall. The units on this gold mine might get pushed off fairly soon though, so he does have to be careful. Shadowfax with tons of wood in the bank. Might want to think about more farms here, more farms over here, taking villagers off of wood. He does not need to be building Toxotes now. I'm not sure why the Toxotes were even the choice here for for Shadowfax. I think he maybe felt like they're just a little bit cheaper, but it's better to get those stronger Hippocon out and get your farm situation set up here as the Chimera pushing through, getting the damage done. But we see another Chimera getting taken out as another one coming in. We still haven't seen that that Typhon, what's it called? Chimera Tyrant upgrade coming in for these Chimera, which is a big help in the special abilities of the Chimera as they're still trying to micro to the best of their ability, staying alive here. See the Hippolyta getting taken out as well by the Chimera. He's got 9 HP remaining and does end up falling as these Chimera can now happily take this fight as Hagrit's got no upgrades on these units. A couple of idle units here for Shadowfax need to get in onto this fight as Hagrit is going to be retreating away. But I don't really understand why Hagrit is continuing to demand fighting here. He can just pull back and kind of sit back and try and get Mythic Age here. He's got his market up. He's got the resources to go Mythic Age. He's got plenty of favor in the bank as well to make his own Chimera here. Shadowfax has got himself 70 villages now, so he's basically caught up on economy here. He's got himself 140 population as well. As the Chimera getting taken down yet again, this is going to be a pain for Shadowfax as this is the big reason he's got an advantage in the first place. And we are seeing Hephaestus coming through for Hagrit. Hagrit says, you know what? I don't care about your Chimera advantage. I want the economic advantage. I want Hephaestus. I want my armory upgrades. And I want to take an advantage that way in the late game. As Shadowfax has managed to get equality in economy, but he's not going to be happy with seeing Hephaestus coming through because that means that armory upgrades are going to be a difficulty for him to overcome. As medium cavalry coming through, we see the Atlanta getting taken out here, as well as an Atlanta is through for Shadowfax, and Shadowfax has managed to get an advantage here, but how does he convert this advantage? He needs to push in onto this gold mine over here and see what he's going to do. We see the Theseus getting taken out here, and we'll see Shadowfax moving in right now in onto this position, and the Chimera coming in to try and take down these villages as well. So we see the Toxotes here getting taken out, the villagers getting taken out here as well. There is a potential for a gold star. There's also a potential for Shadowfax to throw up a fortress on this position here. As we see the Chimera coming in yet again, hitting on those Toxotes, getting so much damage done. Obviously, Shadowfax has got a big advantage here and in his army and everything else, as we're starting to see Hagrit having to spam out units here. He's got all of the production buildings he needs around this town center, but they're going to be popping out right onto the army of Shadowfax as Shadowfax manages to take down the entire army of Hagrit here, as there is a significant advantage for Shadowfax. He's managed to make it work, even though I thought that there was no way that Shadowfax was going to be able to get enough damage done with those Chimera, but he manages to find that advantage here. But it looks like Hagrit is pushing out with his units nicely. There's no meat shields for these Toxotes as the reinforcements are a little bit slow here for Shadowfax, and Hagrit should be able to hold on here as another Chimera coming in, going to be getting that splash damage done as the Colossus is now moving up onto this position to take down the town center. But there is a Theseus already over here, so that will be able to deal with the Colossus, but they just kind of high-five each other as they walk past, and Shadowfax will notice that a little bit too late here. As he's got all his heroes over here as well. He could make a his what's it called, Polyphemus out in order to deal with this one, but he's going to be making, there he goes with the Polyphemus, should be able to deal with that Colossus, no problems there. So we see some stables coming up, and now the big problem for Shadowfax is, well, he does still have the Chimera advantage, but he's down 10 villages, and Hagrid is getting himself armory upgrades for next to no resources right now. We take a look at this. It costs 60 food, 60 gold. And while Shadowfax has got the kill loss ratio in his favor heavily here, I would wager that Hagrid's economy has been able to support losing all these units completely fine here. As the Atlanta getting pulled back, we see the Chimera able to continue taking down Toxotes. Toxotes got such low HP that they just die in basically 2 shots from the Chimera special there. There's now heavy cavalry coming through for Shadowfax. Golden apples, copper shields coming through for Hagrit as well, as the Chimera enough here to push back. And in reality, what Shadowfax needs to do here is actually kill off enemy villagers with his Chimera, but he's not hitting those raids nicely. And there's a big problem that's could potentially happen here for Shadowfax, is that this wall here of trees is going to get chopped down very, very soon. Especially if Hagrit starts rebuilding his storehouses. He's done it once, but he hasn't noticed over on this position to do that. And it's not that big of a deal, but if you can throw up another storehouse here, break through this wall, throw up some buildings on this position, can be very, very nice. We are seeing that now Shadowfax is chopping down these trees as well here on the front. But right now, Hagrit's got fortified town centers, 155, 160 population. Shadowfax, on the other hand, not close to the same. His Atlanta is Hagrit's Atlanta is going to start being very, very scary once bronze weapons, bronze shields gets researched. Architects also coming through as well. We're starting to see some raids coming in to try and take that Plenty Vault. You have to kind of sit on the Plenty Vault though, and because Crenellations is in, you can't just move back and forth in order to hold this one, because the tower will be able to deal with that. Maybe if he's on this location over here, you could sit and just take that for a little bit, but not really happening here, as Shadowfax does decide to cast Ceasefire. That is not what you want to see here for Shadowfax, because that just means that Hagrit can just happily spend his resources on iron weapons, iron shields, iron mail. He's going to be able to get those resources that he needs nicely. We do see these heavy Hippocon have found their way onto this gold mine over here, but Hagrit's going to be full iron very, very shortly. And that just means that the army that Hagrit's got here is just going to be next to unkillable, as we will see. Look at the resources. Just that says it all. Tons of resources. The upgrades about to be through. And we see everything coming through right now. We've got carrier pigeons, heavy infantry, heavy archers, heavy cavalry. The armor upgrades still haven't started just yet, but I'm sure they will be on their way very, very shortly. The gold mine going to be expired as well just about by the time the ceasefire finishes here. So you can just retreat up through this wall onto this gold mine, no real problems where that's concerned. We see some walls coming up on this position as some stables are getting thrown down. Still no iron upgrades for Hagrit just yet, as we see the Chimera going to get taken out. Oop, got a micro just a little bit here, as he does manage to finish that one off. Now we've got Hoplites, Toxotes here with mass upgrades, able to deal with what Shadowfax is doing. Shadowfax making himself the Hephaestus here. Both players at 160 of 160 population, but the army quality that Hagrit's got is absolutely gigantic. Meanwhile, in this position, we're starting to see Hagrit hitting some raids onto the villages over here. We see a watchtower coming up. I don't think that there's crenellations through. Nope. So these Hippocon are going to be completely fine on this position, as we do have some Prodromus out in order to deal with these guys. We see the Hippocon dealing with some villagers over here, as Hagrit's not paying attention from that location. He does deal with these units over here though nicely. Now we see more units streaming in onto this position, as Hagrit is going to start being able to take down this town center here. If he gets up a fortress, starts making some siege as well, as now we see iron weapons, iron mail, iron shields all coming through immediately here, compared to Shadowfax, who's now only just getting himself bronze mail. He's got himself copper weapons, copper shields, so he is super far behind on the armory. We'll see how Hagrit's going to convert this one right now. We do have a Polyphemus now trying to take down this town center, but he's only got himself 160 HP remaining, and the town center is dealing tons of damage because it's about to have iron weapons. It goes up to 21.6 damage per second, times 2, as the Polyphemus gets sniped down here, running away. And he's not quite as strong as the Colossus, that is for sure. So we see the units pushing in, taking down these Toxotes fairly nicely here, as the towers are up in order to pick off these Toxotes, but there's just units streaming in right now. Population differential is a 145 of 160 to 158 of 160, and there's donkey caravans coming through for Shadowfax, but he just doesn't have the economic advantage here at all, because Hagrit's got Plenty Vault, Hagrit's got Forge of Olympus, so he hasn't had to spend that many resources on his armory anyways. So starting to see Hagrit trying, or Shadowfax trying to push in and take down Hagrit's villagers over here. And now we see the units coming over to try and defend this one, but these heavy hoplites, they deal 12 damage per second into a town center, which has only got Mason's fortified town centers. See if he's going to be able to hold this one or not. The villagers popping out. The Toxotes able to do some good damage over here. Just look at how long it takes for a hoplite to fall in this position right now. The Toxotes move in to take down these units nicely here. So we see a tower coming up over here. And the hoplites getting taken out. Now the Hippocon moving up onto this position to take down these Toxotes. The Toxotes are going to be retreating away here. So do see the villagers onto this gold mine over here as well, doing the best that they can. We just see a watchtower up on this position, more units pushing in over here to take down these units here. But I feel like Hagrit's just going to be able to support spam forever. He's getting himself burning pitch as well. Still no fortress I don't see, but there it is. There's the fortress on the front that Hagrit's going to need, and Shadowfax's army is just getting absolutely dismantled here by the tech advantage that Hagrit's managed to acquire in this game. I'm not sure exactly what Shadowfax can do right now. He's getting pushed off gold over here. He does have this gold mine over here. It's about to expire. He's got a gold mine over here that's not really spotted by Hagrit, but Shadowfax in a very, very difficult position now, as he is really struggling to hold this position. We're seeing Spirited Charge come through, champion archers as well on the way here for Hagrit. Hagrit's going to be able to get himself champion infantry as well fairly soon if he so chooses. As the units just continue to pump in here, and Shadowfax is just not killing units. His units just don't deal damage. That's just all it is. He can spam towers, I guess, at this point, but then he will be greeted with some Petropolis, I'm sure. And Shadowfax, in that moment, does decide the game is lost. And Shadowfax goes for the crazy one-town center semi-fast mythic, which is a strategy in this matchup. But the strategy only really works when there's exposed resources. Having two safe medium gold mines at home, no food on the map whatsoever, there's just not enough to target down. And you can see that it works. You can see that Shadowfax managed to get into a position here that is really, really strong. And had he been able to find a position in which he could actually attack Hagrit and deal real damage, he would have been completely fine here with this strategy. But it just didn't quite get him into a position that he could find a solid advantage, and the Hephaestus came in, and it was just too much for him to deal with. Hagrit played this one nicely in order to deal with what Shadowfax was doing. Shadowfax played the strategy to near perfection, I would say, and almost made it work, in all honesty. I mean, if he could have gone onto this back gold mine here with some Chimera and actually got some villager kills to slow Hagrit down instead of just going after the army consistently, he probably could have found somewhat of an advantage here, but it just wasn't quite there for Shadowfax. Hagrit gets the dub. Hagrit goes through to the next round. Shadowfax is out. What a crazy game. What a crazy series. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.